So the Bookmark Editor brings that familiar folder in Windows File Explorer, that approach to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So let's start by going ahead and adding a Bookmark Editor to our dashboard with our collaborative spaces. And here I already have some created, but you will open up with just the favorites and bookmarks. So I'm just going to run through the toolbars down here. And first things first is adding a bookmark, and that's the first option we have here is new bookmark. And what that will do is we'll just add a bookmark in which it'll automatically give you the option to add a title. And there are a couple of different ways to actually go about adding new bookmarks. You can always go down to the toolbar. You can also right-click in the window here and select New Bookmark. And if you would like to make a sub-bookmark, such as a subfolder, you can select the folder or bookmark that you would like it to go in and right-click that, and you'll see the option for bookmark. You'll also see the option to rename, delete, expand, so on and so forth with the bookmarks that you have already created. These options will be going over more in depth as they are located in this toolbar as well, so I won't go over them there. The next option is, let's go ahead and go into a bookmark that I have created, is the option to add existing content. If you select this, you will be given the option to search. So once you search, you will bring up 3D search, and you can take an option, click, drag, and drop it into your bookmark, and it will be added as a file. And then here we have the option to replace revision. You'll have a column here, is last revision, and it will have check marks, and if there's no check marks, that means it's an out-of-date file. So the way to bring it up to date is to replace by latest revision. You can also select to go to a very specific revision. If you have you're on the latest revision but you'd like to go back, you can select to replace by that specific revision. If you would like to remove content from a collaborative space, you have the remove content option. And that doesn't delete it, but it removes it from the bookmark. So it will still be located in your collaborative space. If you would like to delete a file, you can right click and you'll see the option to delete. So be very careful when you're right clicking, be very intentional. If you would like to remove it from the bookmark but keep it in the collaborative space, then you're going to remove content. If you would like to delete it from the 3DEXPERIENCE platform altogether, you will select delete. If you would like to add a bookmark to your favorites, you can highlight it here and you will see the star icon here, and you can add it to your favorites. Over here we have common properties. You've seen the properties before. It's the same format that you'd be used to anywhere else. It will open up this window. We've already discussed that, so I won't go too far into depth in that. And then you also have the copy, cut, and paste options that you'd be very familiar with from Windows File Explorer. So you can go ahead and copy, cut, and paste files from bookmark to bookmark. Here we have the document options, and what this will do is for documents that are not 3D model related. So if I was to add, say, a Word document, and that's another thing, you can add content just by clicking and dragging, whether it's from 3D search, your collaborative space, anything like that. Just click and drag it, drop it into your bookmark, and there it is. So if you highlight a document that's not 3D model related, you can have these options come up. And what this will do is give you the option to upload and download. Upload will always be available. You don't have to necessarily have one highlighted. And what that will do is we'll open up your Windows File Explorer, and you can upload documents, and they will go, just as a word of caution, they will go to whatever collaborative space you have chosen in your preferences. So be very careful about that. You can, if you have one highlighted, you can choose to download. You can also choose to check out or check in. This would be similar to if you're a PDM user, the check-in, check-out functionality. So if you wanted to make changes to a document that's not 3D model related, you could check it out, make the changes so that nobody else can make changes while you're working on it, and then check it back in, and it keeps track of the revision and everything else like that. In the View tab here, we have a number of options that will allow you to change how you see your files in the bookmark. You have the default is a tree view, which will be a list. You can also switch to graph view, and here I have it over to the left, but on the very most right button you can change how that is organized. And you can choose whether there are thumbnails in the tree view. You can get rid of the map over here, and you can change the zoom. You also have the option for tiles as well as thumbnails. So this is a matter of personal preference, however you want to view your files. The more files you get in there, the tree view can be a very condensed version, so you can see a lot of those files. Where you get into thumbnail view, you might end up finding it a little too familiar with the collaborative space, depending on how you're using it. If your collaborative spaces are already broken down by projects, this might not give you as much of a benefit. I personally like the tree view. Over here we have expand. So what this will do is allow you to expand these drop downs here, so you can choose to expand the assemblies and sub-assemblies. I have it on expand number of levels. You can expand all, or you can choose to expand a certain number of levels. If you have sub-assemblies, you can expand it a certain number of sub-assemblies. And here you have some selection tools. You can go through and see which selections you would like to make, whether it's all visible, just the children, whatever you have selected now. You can select the inverse, you can select just the parent, siblings, and even leaves. So you can go through, and if you're trying to find all of the parents within a bookmark, you can just use that tool to really help you expedite that process. In the Tools tab, we have tools that we should be familiar with. We've discussed the relations. Print will allow you to print the list. It's similar to the tree view. You can export it as a CSV. You can also set up notifications. So you can add a notification and you'll receive a pop-up here saying you successfully subscribed. If you select the drop-down, you can edit which subscriptions you are receiving notifications for. So for example, anytime that file is promoted or revised, I would receive a notification. You can also unselect them here. You also have the option to just unsubscribe from all within the drop down as well. And lastly, in the tools, we have the option to tune up how the columns are viewed in the Bookmark Editor. So you can remove columns that you want to see. You can change your order by selecting them and using these arrows over here. You can add a thumbnail, which will appear in the columns. And you can also add a checkbox that will appear over here, allowing you to make multi-selection. If you really want to add more attributes, you can go in here and select more that you would like to see. That's a little bit more advanced, so feel free to go through that if there's any attributes that you feel are missing from your table, but as a default, the ones that are applied should cover everything that you need. Next up, we have the Lifecycle tab. This has all of the lifecycle management, which we will be going more in depth on this with the Collaborative Lifecycle app, but just know that you can manage the lifecycle of your product data right from within this tab. This is also another place that you can find the delete. The one that we saw here, the delete option, can also be found in the lifecycle delete option. And then lastly, we have the collaboration. Here we have share, which will allow you to search for members that are in your organization and share bookmarks or files. You can create a link which will automatically be copied, and you can paste that link and share it with other 3DEXPERIENCE users. You can select content and move it to a separate collaborative space. And you can also change the owner and type in a new owner here, add a message if you'd like. Another place to change the owner is right here. You can select this option and type in the new owner and add a message. And then this reserve and unreserve, if you're unfamiliar with it right now, this is what you would use similar to check-in, check-out for CAD data, 3D model data. So you would reserve it to check it out and nobody else can work on it. And once you're done making your changes, you save it back to the platform, you can go ahead and unreserve.